Hello, it's August, and I know that for most people that means it's just another month of the summer, but for me that means it's basically Halloween. And so, to accommodate the fact that within me it is already
freaking bats,
but outside it's like 80 degrees, I wanted to make something that would be covertly seasonal. So I thought we could make a bucket hat that turns into a witch hat. I originally saw
I don't know how to say her name. Kiko Lynn?
This creator, I saw her post a TikTok where she was showing off hers, but in the comments there's really no like tutorial or pattern or anything, so it's just
you and my brain cells.
And maybe we can do this. I have, however, made a lot of bucket hat patterns. I have a video where I made like 6 or something in a week, so I'm going to use the Gloria Allen pattern that I know how to use, and then hopefully we can just turn one side of it into a witch's hat and then sew them together, and potentially it could work. So let's get started. If you plan on making this, you will need a fat quarter of both your lining piece for your witch hat, your outer lining piece for the normal bucket hat, and then some interfacing and of course the pattern pieces from that free bucket hat pattern. The very first thing I did was block interface all of my bucket hat outer lining fabric, and I cut out the pattern as normal. Don't do this. I realized I made a mistake later, but before I realized I made a mistake, of course I had to go to Joann's. So let's go to Joann's and then I'll tell you about that. Hello, welcome to the Prius. It's not a video with me if we didn't have to gallivant off to Joann's at some point. So we're off to Joann's to buy more interfacing because I ran out. So we need about a yard of interfacing, and then we can cut the ghost fabric and get to assembly. So I'll see you in Joann's. After I got back from Joann's, I began to block interface the rest of my fabric for the witch hat portion of this hat, but quickly realized I should probably think before just cutting into this, and also that I had made a mistake before. So here's Past BB to tell you more about that. I realized I was going to extend the brim and then I didn't do that. So now would be a good point to decide if I want to do that. Hold on. So one thing I realized we need to figure out how big the brim should be. So this is my witch hat that I made a while ago. Very big brim. It's 6.5 inches from this seam to the end. And then this is my bucket hat, and it is...
One moment, please.
A 2-inch brim. So we want to get somewhere between this and this. I think that to make the witch part really communicate witch hat, it's gonna need a wider brim than this. This is pretty small. So I'm thinking to be somewhere in between 2 and 6, we do 4. That means we need to recut the brim pieces on this checkered fabric, and then we need to cut all the pattern pieces out on my ghost fabric, and we need to figure out how to do a cone.
Because I forgot.
With all those tasks in front of me, I decided to first tackle the brim piece. I pinned it to a Trader Joe's bag and then measured 2 inches out from the bottom of this pattern all the way around, and then cut that out, and voila, I had an extended pattern. With that in place, I could cut out basically all of my pattern pieces except for the pointy witch hat part, and when it came to that, it was a lot of math that was very confusing. I definitely forgot how I did this the last time I did it. It's been long enough that I had no idea. So this part of the day was a lot of trial and error. Here's my first attempt at that, which this BB is going to explain to you why you should not try this. Hi, so I've cut out all of my pieces, but I just had a major revelation. When I was cutting all my pieces, I was assuming that I would replace this circle top panel with a point. Think about that with me. Put this on and just add this on top of the band. It would look
weird.
So instead, why don't I just make these not those ones specifically. This band piece, this is the part that goes here. Why not just extend this into a pointy cone in one piece of fabric? Does that make sense? That's the plan anyways. Okay, I'm filming this so we can either be like, wow, so smart, how good, or we can laugh at my mistakes. But My plan is that I want this brim piece to expand into a point, and I want it to be 9 inches tall. With that plan in mind, I centered my ruler, marked where 9 inches would be, and then drew a straight line from the corner of the band piece all the way to the top of that point. And then finally I had my witch hat pattern piece. So here are all the pieces for the pattern. For the normal bucket hat, you have the circle top, a band, and an extended brim. For the witch hat, you have the pointy top and the extended brim. And that should be all. With all my pieces cut out, I began assembly. So I took both of the band pieces, connected them right sides facing on both sides, and did the same with all of the brim pieces and the pointy witch hat. With all those pieces connected, it was time to make an actual bucket hat, which was a job for nighttime. Hello, welcome to nighttime sewing. So it's actually not that late at night, but I'm a sleepy girl, so I don't know how much will get finished, but I just wanted to give you an update. Yesterday, I got all of the band and brim pieces connected. Tonight, I am going to try to assemble this normal bucket hat. Essentially, you just assemble this and then assemble the other part and then put them together. They connect at this seam on the brim, and then you can flip them inside out, and then it'll be reversible, and then hopefully it all works out. I'll let you know tomorrow morning how far Sleepy Baby got, but let's get into some cozy nighttime sewing. Sewing at night really is so cozy. I got to work on connecting the circle top of the bucket hat to the band of the bucket hat. You do this by creating notches and connecting the notches where they're supposed to be. If you can't tell how to do this from my sleepy footage, which no problem, I will link the tutorial below, and he has a super clear explanation which Sleepy Baby could not provide. Hello, good morning. I'm gonna let you guess right now how far you thought Sleepy Baby got. She did it. She did it! I have the 2 hats completed, and all we have to do is put these together. I'm at the point in the project where I feel like
It might not work and it might be ugly.
but we power through. My problems right now are that I think, first of all, the brim is way too long. I can't even see you. And it's really flimsy. So really, to see how to problem solve that, we just need to put it together to see if both of these brims will stiffen up enough. Stiffen up enough
Whoa.
for me to like them. And then I'm also a little concerned by the point of this hat. I'm a little concerned that it looks dumb. Putting them together, flipping them inside out, and then if I don't like how big the brim is, we can always just sew it smaller and smaller and cut off the excess on the inside. Let's see how it goes. With all that confidence, it was time to get to sewing. I connected the brim pieces on both the seams and then on the edges that you make, just like you did when you were connecting the previous pieces. But before I even got to sewing, I decided to stall by talking to you about books. I'm currently watching Haley Pham. She has kind of spurred me back into reading. Not that I ever really stopped.
But let's just talk about books for a second.
I am deep into the Throne of Glass books, and I'm doing the tandem read, and let me know in the comments, do you like the tandem read? Did you like it? Because I think I love it. And all I've heard is like trash on the one about Kale?
How do you say his name?
All I've heard is complete trash, and I am loving that book. I think it's so good. Anyways, I'm gonna sew this now. So I got to sewing, and after finishing that seam, I did decide that the hat was a little bit too big on the brim, and I wanted it to be a little bit smaller. So I ended up going back and sewing that seam until I was happy with it. So if you're going to do this, I would suggest only expanding that pattern probably an inch instead of 2 inches. But if you want a wider brim, then, you know, go for it. This is totally just personal preference. Hello, I've decided this is cute, and I'm not going to make it any shorter because I think on the witch side, it just needs a little bit longer. So I think this is giving more kind of like sun hat.
I'm okay with that.
All we have left to do is give this a good press because it needs one, and then top stitch, and then we're done. Okay, so let's go.
Let's do all the things.
Let's go do all of the things. And so I got started working on the last steps for my hat. If you have a ham, this is the perfect time to use it to iron this hat, but I just suffered through and used my ironing board, kind of rolled it up to make it work. And then I closed the hole that I had flipped through. I just pressed the fabric into it, gave it a really, really good press, and then sewed that down. I gave this a lot of top stitching, basically to when I thought it looked good, and I was getting really excited about this project, so I thought it looked really cute, and I also thought that I could finally do that transition that I always try to do that never works.
I try this so often, but today I believe.
Here she is! I love this hat so much and honestly can't believe that it turned out so cute. Here it is from both sides. I love that I can wear it kind of normally as a sun hat, but also be covertly Halloween. I think it's great. Thank you guys so much for watching, and feel free to subscribe if you like the crafting chaos, and I will see you next time you're feeling crafty. Bye!